Okay, hello everyone, Random Gamer Riven here, and I welcome you to another randomised gaming stream. I am your host of this randomised gaming stream, Random Gamer Riven. And in today's stream, we are going to be doing some rootin', tootin', shooting and monster hunting in the Wild West. Or more specifically, Wild Arms 2 from Media.Vision. Now, before I do anything, I'm actually going to show you a quick cameo. Unfortunately, this game is infamous for having a bit of a rough translation. You are a curious bunch. Why come so often to a town like this where nothing happens? Don't know where you're up to, but good luck anyhow. They've added a western slant on it, so sort of classic sort of western. Yes, to get the saving NPC. So, now, here's a little thing. The Gun Saloon, the Gunner's Haven. So, does anyone know what reference this is to? This is, in fact, a reference to Gunner's Haven, the PS1 shooter game. Or more specifically, Rapid Reload, as it was known in Europe. And this is Luca. One back on. Yes, Luca's one of the female characters. Now, you've got Alex. Supposedly, that's supposed to be Axel. Although, if I'm being honest, this character here actually looks more like Axel. But I think this is actually a woman with the ponytail. So I'm actually starting off in the middle. The middle of Wild Arms 2 a bit. We are a little way in. It's probably a good thing I do this anyway because we avoid all the tutorials. This game actually has 3 massive tutorial sections, so I need to... Yes, you can actually, each of the characters have their own abilities, and you can freely swap between them on the map sequence. So I'm currently playing as Brad. Here we go. Let's get a quick battle out just before I go to the... So I actually need to head back to base, I think, at this current point I am at the story. This is actually an interesting secret location where you can review everything you found. The odd headquarters. The music in this is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This is really my type of RPG with this type of look. The 2D sort of sprites. Although this thing, it looks like a sprite, I think a lot of these are actually like Shining Force 3, that they're actually like single poly 3D models. Which they've basically stuck sprite imaging to. And this definitely looks like it's definitely a late end PS1 game. This is basically like a secret HQ that allows you to... where you can view all the monster cards. Basically it's like a bestivery. The enemies I've beaten. And for a Western game, although there's a Western theme, you get lots of very odd monsters in this, so... That tells me I've got 26 at 342. Now, Wild Arms 2, sadly, is the only Wild Arms game not released in Europe, and it's another one of those, why didn't they release it? Sony of Europe improving their ineptitude a lot of the time. With some of their releases, I mean, Sony of Europe really should have released a lot of the games. So they've kind of let their series flag as a result, Sony. And it's battle time. Now, I'm not someone to run from battle. Just turn down the music a bit there. I will be fighting a lot in this. But now, these enemies are all relatively weak now. So, I've done... This is a little way into the story. I've actually done the first couple of dungeons and got the 3 main characters united. The start of the game is actually quite slow because you each do a prologue chapter for each of the characters, and then you have to, once you're in the main game, you then have to recruit them. So this is about 6 hours into the game, I would say. My save file is about 6 hours. I've had Ashley basically survive his possession in event. We've also rescued Brad, and he's been reunited, and we met up with the girl. What's her name again? Lilka. I have actually cleared the tower, so I need to actually head back to base camp. There's quite a nice water effect in here, I'll just quickly show off. Not as good as the one I think in Shining Force 3 does. Right, Shining Force 3 actually has slightly better visuals than this, if I'm being honest. So basically, I've rescued Brad, I've got the 3 characters united, and I've joined the headquarters, and then we've gone on our first mission where we've accessed the radio tower and defeated the enemy terrorist group that was taking control of the radio tower, and it started to reveal that there's a greater threat in the storyline. But I'm still only on disc 1. This is a massive game. I think this is one of the biggest of all the... I think it's sort of 50 to 60 hours plus. So it's definitely one of the biggest of the Wild Arms games. You see that music is absolutely top quality stuff for the PS1 era. Right, so I think a call he's going to tell me to. I've also had all the primary villains introduced as well. And this is my North American English copy, which I managed to source actually only last year. This is actually quite a new purchase for me. And I think the seller I got them from still has a few copies of it as well. It is a fantastic game. So we're at the Valerie Chateau, which is our base of operations. Don't you need any items? Just save my game. I'm actually 10 hours in, so okay, maybe I was still... Did I not need to come to this part? I thought I had to come back here to speak to him. Let me just check. It has been a little while since I played this, so I thought I had to speak to him. But maybe I have still got to explore the area I was in. Okay, I need to go back to the town. Okay, I need to go back to Damson City. That's what I need to do. Yes, and Lilka there actually uses a umbrella as a weapon. We've got Ashley and Brad, who are the three main characters. There are quite a lot of additional characters as well. Some are highlighted in the manual. Okay, I've gone the wrong way. I need to go back to where we were. But you certainly get the feel for the game. It is a very lovely put together PS1 game, and certainly not. It's a late end PS1 game being released in '99. I think the English release might have been 2000, which is possibly why it didn't get translated in Europe. Yeah, so 2000. So they released it in '99, translated it for 2000. Maybe Sony of Europe didn't want to translate it. It's disappointing, Sony, because Europe didn't want to translate it for Europe, because it is such a really quality game. Hello, XGaming765. Thanks for joining the stream. We are looking at Wild Arms 2. Second Ignition is the proper title. I don't know why the US version dropped the Second Ignition title. It made perfect sense. Well, they did. They added in like the third. I was maybe just a PS2 RPG, and then I thought, no, I'll play Wild Arms. Because I can carry on my save file directly. It's actually quite a big game. It is over 2 discs, so... Yes, this game is an RPG. This is a turn-based RPG, Wild Arm. There are actually 10 games. There are 5. I don't know why I said 10. There are... There are 6 direct games in the series, and Gunner's Haven is technically the prelude to the series, although Gunner Haven is... or Rapid Reload as it is known, is a shooting 2D. We have got a video of Rapid Reload on the channel if you want to watch it. And just a reminder, tomorrow will be our regular fight night as well, so we will be doing lots of RPG battling tomorrow. Here we go back to Down City. I will be back in a sec, guys. Okay, back. Oh, and hi, Cher. Great to see you on stream tonight. I think it's the first time you've been on stream this week. Thanks for joining. This is Wild Arms 2 on PS1, a very Western-themed RPG that sadly did not get a European release. So I actually need to go to the place in front of the one of the houses in front of the hospital to advance the story at the minute. I do love the animation in this. Just chat to the doctor there. I was sad that the miners were getting injured less and less, but now it looks like things might be looking up again. That's not great translation. That implies he's quite happy the miners are all getting injured. There are a few bumps in the road for this one in the translation. So I've done the tower already. Yes, it is a mix of 2D and 3D. Ah, there we go. So this is what I need to do. I take it you wish to capture those vile terrorists. If you do, you'll listen to me with utmost care. We're in a hurry. Catch us next time. You don't seem to know your place in the world, little girl. A little girl? Do you know anything about them? I saw a gull-wing cast plane flying. Overtime, yes. So, as you may have guessed, this character, I don't think she joins us here, but Marville is going to be a character that will join us later on. I will leave her name unchanged. I'd like to leave the default names. Thanks for the like as always, guys. Very much appreciated. So, obviously we've got to explore the mountain next. It's me from Irving. The English translation is a bit rough, I will admit. Irving. It's me from Denzel. Where are you? From Den. So that would be where are you in Dam? That should probably be. So Irving's saying it's me, guy. It's me, Ashley. What I probably should say is where are you in Dashing? Flying machine heading east. How did you know that? Yeah, see her. How did you know that? To the communicating Odessa. Teleport. Understood. Arms. Pursuit of Odessa at once. Yes, overtime is a blessing. I know that from my years when I worked in the industry, getting a lot of paid overtime. So just to show you guys who've just come on stream, there is a rather cool saloon, which is... And yeah, this game is a beautiful mix of 2D, 3D. So this saloon is actually a nod to Gunner's Haven, and this is actually a nod to Rapid Reload or Gunner's Haven on the PS1, because it's actually the same game and they're actually part of the same series. In fact, I'll just go back in here. I briefly visited this at the start stream, but this is... Although the names aren't quite translated perfectly, this is Luca from Gunner Haven. And here we have Axel from Gunner Haven. Although Axel, the actual Axel in Gunner Haven looks more like this, the character. It's the mine far east of here. It's Mount Chung Chung, but its real name is Keltapiko. Still trolling along. You got it right. Yeah, Katamari was a really good fun stream last night. Don't worry, I will cover Katamari in more videos on the channel as well. It's a really fun game to play, Katamari. And this is a really good game. This actually, as I said earlier, this is the only one in the Wild Arms series not to get a power release. So I've got to find... So Chungra is east of... East of Darzam, the town of Darzam. It's with those classic Final Fantasy RPG turn battles. So to find new locations in this, you actually have to sweep with this thing. So previously, key story locations won't open up until they often get mentioned in the story. So I couldn't find the mountain before, but I assume now we're going to get... And yeah, if you get the exclamation mark, if you press the square or the circle button, one of them actually sends the enemies away. So this is actually a really good fun game. I'm actually quite enjoying it. I thought I'd do this because I hadn't played this in a little while. I haven't actually played this in a little while and I wanted to catch up. I meant to finish this year, but I haven't got round to doing it. But I thought, well, I'll do a bit of it. And I'm currently playing Gundam as well, but this is very, very good. This is basically the result of me buying too many PS1 games at once at Christmas. And I'll probably be doing similar again this year, buying quite a few titles at Christmas. Christmas and birthdays tend to be the only time I tend to splash out the cash these days. Okay, so I assume the mountain's going to be around here now. Now, the way this works is you often can't find key locations here until you get into... basically constructed, so Mount Chung Chung. So I couldn't previously find this location. I did come around some of these bits and they just did not spawn anywhere. Chug Chug. Mount Chug Chug. Not a great name. You feel the menace of a monster howl. What is that? Is that some hidden secret monster fight? Side region. Entry prohibited to all those out the boss sign. So we won't be going the quick way. Withdraw. Okay, he's running away. I have been doing a bit of leveling on my characters, hence why they aren't doing much enemies damage to me. I should have actually checked I bought all the latest gear, actually. The music in this is fantastic. Graphically, it's good. It's probably not the best looking PS1 game. I think Shining Force 3 has a very similar art style at this point, as does Grandian. Shining Force 3 is definitely better looking. Whenever I mention Grandian, just the memories come flooding back. Such a great game. Okay, so now I've got a lot of these dungeons you don't get maps for, so you've basically got to map them out in your head and look for treasure. The lift has stopped, okay. Load headgear. Okay, is that going to be any good for any of my characters? Yes, it is. It's better armor for Brad. I think it's a red exclamation mark. It means they're going to surprise me. It's a really great classic PS1 visuals, but this is sort of end-of-life PS1 stuff, so it sort of looks almost like a PS2 game. Admittedly not quite as nice, but you're starting to see the makings of the PS2 art style that you would later see. It was actually quite impressive what the effects they could get out of the PS1 by the end, considering the fact it was hardware inferior to the Sega Saturn. And it was developed a year or two before the PS1, so it really was quite old tech when it wasn't exactly cutting edge when it actually released the PS1, strangely, because it was started off as a SNES CD and it had been delayed because Sony had approached both Sega and Nintendo to get it released, so and both Sega and Nintendo had declined and said no. What a big mistake they both made. Some weird mushroom enemies. There are some odd enemies for a Western themed game. You get some very odd sort of magical enemies, and like as you can see, there's very much a magical character. So she's a little bit of an odd character, but the Wild Arms series is sort of a mix of Wild West and magic and other things. So it's quite an interesting concept. Gives a bit more colour and character than a lot of other games. But yeah, the music for this is just fantastic. We will do, I think, PS2 or PS1 related for tomorrow's fight night. I'm not sure what yet, though. We'll have a discussion. I am also doing... Yeah, this... I mean, I am a little way into this. As I mentioned at the start of the stream, this is about 10 hours. My playthrough is about 10 hours in, but I think it's probably about 6 or 7, so I tend to do things a bit more slowly than other people. And basically, I've done the 3 initial prologue stories. We do have a video of Ashley's prologue story on the channel. The prologue stories do slow it down a bit, and then you have to, once you get to clear the prologue story, you then have to get the 3 characters to meet in the main game. And then I've rescued there. One of the options, you have to rescue Brad out of the prison, and then we have to. I've been to the tower, which they were referring to about the terrorist attack, and now we are investigating the group behind the attack on the tower. This is quite a step up. If you look at the original Wild Arms visually is sort of more 2D, whereas this is, like I said, as X Gaming said, a mix of 2D and 3D. So question, I've got to figure out where to go, so don't think we have to go this way. Oh, I should have tried that other lift, shouldn't I? Unfortunately, this is one of those games that I can actually run on the open source scan converter at 3 times scan. So effectively what you're seeing is the game running at 720p. Yes, and Lilka, despite the Western, she uses a parasol or an umbrella as her weapon. But yeah, for me, this is actually quite a new game because I only recently picked it up, but I have been playing it solidly since I got it on and off. Oh, I didn't see that door before. That's what I missed. The doors in this mine are actually quite tricky to see. So each of the characters also has their own abilities on the map. You use it to solve a few of the puzzles. Brad can kick. But it is turn-based random battles. I know that might turn some people off. I'm a huge RPG fan, so it doesn't faze me. I really enjoy. I actually like to just go and level up for a bit. I realise not everyone likes grinding, and there is a case of some games are way too grindy, like Phantasy Star 2 that we covered on stream a little while back. A good game, but the grind in that is really very they needed to like triple the XP enemies gave, I think. But this is a beautiful looking PS1 game. Although I am playing it on the PlayStation 2. It's one of those games I could literally stand around listening to the soundtrack for hours, so I want to keep moving. Really great stuff with the music. Now, can I do something with that car? Used inside the mines. Yes, so now Brad can kick with his strong boot, so I'm guessing. And away it goes. I'm guessing that's probably now available to use in the mines. There is an element of puzzle solving in this. And like any RPG, I need to know there are basically two ways to go. The route you do to get the extras and the route you do to go to the boss. I mean, that's pretty much part of the course. Navigate round the maze location, grab all the items before fighting the boss, and hope you don't fight the stumble into the boss accidentally before you've got all the loot. Yes, I know the music off by heart. I played it because it's so catchy, just so good as well. Oh, Lilka is confused. No, oh no, we've got one's confused, one seems dazed. Ooh, that's the thing, that when they start attacking each other, you do some really bad damage to one another. And I appreciate the likes, guys, so far. Admittedly, this is a bit of a quiet stream, but that's no worries. Obviously not got as many RPG fans as I'd like on the channel. Okay, so the toy hammer obviously knocks some sense into the characters, although that does mean I've only used up the two to undizzy my two chaps. Yes, hi Nika. I'm actually past. I've loaded up my save file, so I didn't want to start from the beginning because of how the game works. So I thought I'd carry on from where I am. Plus, that means I can progress on my own save file. So yes, we have Brad, we have Ashley, and we have Laika or Lilka. Or at least the starting squad, because there's lots of other characters. Because this is one game where the start's quite slow. In fact, if I was just streaming this from the start, it would take 3 hours before we even got out of the prologues. The the translation is definitely, as we discussed before, definitely very rough around the edges in places. There's definitely a lot of issues with the translation being very, very messy and poorly done. Such as the doctor who wants to see people injured, which is a bit bizarre. It's like, yeah, it's a translation error. Just loving the music in this. It's just fantastic to listen to. Memory loss. Is that the rose or the toy hammer? I just actually to use a couple of toy hammers that had the question mark over them. The characters were attacking one another. But yeah, having this one's obviously one where you keep the status ailments after battle. So some RPGs you don't keep the status ailments. Oh, down we go. I shouldn't have done that. I wanted to go through the other door first. But yeah, already had a couple of enemies inflict some states on me, so... And I've run out of toy hammers, so I think I need to go back to the shop to buy some. Ah, that is a dead end. Okay, I thought there was actually a door that side. And in we go. I do like the puzzles in this. There's some nice puzzles. Away we go with the jump. I'm guessing this is going to reactivate. Turn the start lever on. Give it a kick, Brad. Oh, we've got... I'm correct, that should get the... Okay, the elevators are working, so we can start exploring. I will actually get... I'm going to nip back to grab some gear from the shop, because I don't have any toy hammers, and seeing as the enemies were inflicting the toy hammer state, or basically the confusion state, if I get someone conflicted who I can't cure, they are going to basically destroy my party very, very quickly. And they're all running, the enemies. It was a battle where we didn't actually fight anyone. I don't think I gained any XP either as a result. It's just a real shame this wasn't released in Europe, I have to admit. It's a very, very good game. In fact, of all the Wild Arms I've played, and although I haven't played some of the others that much, I think this is my favourite so far. I just love the art style and the look of it. I mean, I enjoyed 3, but I just think it looks... Yeah, I remember you saying before, but yeah, YouTube is very tight, unfortunately, on... We had a few people mention they had words like... I mean, we do have quite a strict thing on the channel as well. But I have seen some messages pick up people having words blocked that we don't have blocked on the channel. So YouTube. Yeah, they infamously... There's a sycophantic, basically, character who is actually in love with the main boss villain, and he's basically made to be... He's changed to... The dialogue changes him to a woman when it's clearly a man in this game. Yeah, the world map's beautiful, but yeah, there's some really bad... The translation for this is pretty poor with characters. This has been very, very messy, badly done. Dams and city. But when you read some of the dialogue, you can tell it's a bit rough around the edges. Yeah, the world map's lovely. And of course we have, as I've showed before earlier, the wonderful... we have Gunner's Haven, which is of course a reference to the game Gunner's Haven, as that technically as the characters who run the bar, magic shop and items. Oh, I've got a new crest. What should I do? What should I do? Quick, okay. I don't know, I'm someone who always likes to buy the best gear just to keep up to date with it. But the minute I want to buy now, I think I've got all the best gear on at the minute, so let me just double check. What I mainly want is the this is by toy hammer, yeah. It's by I'll still buy 8 of them. Number owned 2. Really wish it would tell you what the actual items do. So till the midpoint later on. Yeah, I can imagine early on you usually get weapons in chests as well. Admittedly, this is a big game. It's 2 discs, so it is a very nice package. If you haven't got it, I highly recommend it. 2 discs. There is a North American release and there is a Japanese release. There is no PAL Western release, which is one of the main reasons I'm griping at the minute. I might just double up on everything. Because you can never have too many key items and you never know when you're going to need them. Especially if you suddenly find your character's cursed by some... There's nothing worse than being in a dungeon and finding your character's cursed by a status item you cannot cure, because then you're in trouble. Is there another cellar? Yeah, there's 2. So let's see what... I'm just going to check the... Yeah, the skills are very helpful. In fact, I should just check the skill stats as well. Because I know you can upgrade your character via skills, which is quite different to a standard RPG. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, 'cause you can upgrade them. Rearm gunpowder, upgrade arms. Upgrade the bazooka level 9 to 30. Okay, so 91%. Strangely, I had issues where Brad was missing a lot, so I don't want to spend any more. She's got the stuff in the magic shop, hasn't she? I should just check. And we were just in the magic shop a few minutes ago. Because the upgrade system, you also get the power upgrade status, don't you? The personal up. PS points. Yeah, where do I go to upgrade the PS points again? I need to go to the PS store. Is there one in here? I know there's one in the main town at the start of the game. I mean, that is one of the things about this. It's such a well put together RPG. There's so many ways you can actually play in this one. Check. I think she just did magic. She didn't do size. Did she do change name so quick? No. I don't think there's a size. You think you have to go to the size store to actually use the upgrade points, don't you? Just check it wasn't in here. This was the item store, that was the weapons store. Ah, here we go. Okay, which skills do I want? Resist up, so I've got attack up, P defense up. Yeah, I'm not sure I got this lock-on skill for Brad, but I'll keep that in mind because early on he was missing a few of his shots, I remember. But if he does get a lock-on skill, then yeah, there's not much point. So, what skill would you like? This is one where I think the manual actually is quite helpful because it lists everything. Nice full-colour manual as well. I actually got this one new and sealed. It still has that PS1 freshness as well when I smell the manual. I miss the days of full colour manuals that actually explained everything to you. Auto guard. Should I up defense? Oh, I might up physical defense. Yes. Poisoned, forgetful. Yeah, you can increase your defense against. I might up magic defense. Probably should up magic defense because magic defense is probably the more concerning one for them. She's definitely going to want up physical defend. Ah, nice, yes. I'm lucky my copy's nice and new, so literally I got this sealed last Christmas, so literally smell the freshness. But yes, I have quite a few games with. We do have quite. Well, I have quite a few, and some of the other guys in the team have the. When you buy, because just these days you're predominantly buying second-hand retro games. We've had more than one or two with Little Brother's Note. What does Forgetfulness do out of interest? I should actually read the manual quickly while I'm here. I think it has the status ailments in there. Forgetfulness. Forgetfulness prevents a character from earning experience points in the battle, cured by using the toy hammer. Ah, yes, that was what they inflicted. Ooh, nasty. Don't earn. Confusion, cured by using the pinwheel. Yeah, so actually I'll buy some more confusion. I see. Yeah, that's actually quite a nasty that your character doesn't earn XP. Especially for an RPG Friends XP game. I just love the music. It's just fantastic for this. And if anyone's watching, Nyko does actually have the soundtrack up on his channel, so it's always nice to listen to the music. Of course, I should... I'll buy 2 more, give me 10, that should be enough for now. I'll go save it as well, since we've done all the upgrades. Save my game! So few, you actually hear so many few games actually use the... continue, yes, the harmonica. It's so nice to actually hear the harmonica in a game. The Japanese tended to do that with a lot of their music. You get like things like jazz, solos and harmonica, and you don't tend to necessarily get that in Western music, oddly enough. Yeah, the NPCs are very nice as well. Especially Alex and Luca from Gunner Haven. It's nice to see them in this. Just slightly reducing because I had the brightness up for just like turn down the brightness there. I had it up for Shinobi as that was really dark, but I forgot to go to the inn. That was what I forgot to do. You reminded me I forgot to heal up in the inn. You can't actually buy berries in this. There wasn't a camp item, was there? You can't camp out. I just remember how you hit. You can heal up at the inn. I just can't remember where the inn is. I think this is the inn, isn't it? This one, because it's not the saloon. We'll stay. That's an odd decision, having a heal item. No, I didn't mean to do that, never mind. I'm currently in the Japanese mode of pressing circle next. I've been playing Japanese and swapping between Japanese and North American on PAL games, so I'm getting a bit confused with what's confirm and what's cancel, because they couldn't, because Sony didn't have a standard. Japan used circle because they had the circle means go and the cross means stop, and for some reason they changed that in the Western version of the PS2 and PS1. I don't know why. It was one of those bizarre decisions that was It's a very nice, bright and colourful game, that I will say as well. For me, this is sort of one of those pinnacle RPGs from this era. This is just what you wanted. Great visuals, great story. It was actually, I think, the late 90s had some really, really good RPGs developed. Certainly games like Shining the Holy Ark are absolutely fantastic with their storytelling. Oh, you can buy better berries in black markets. Ah, so there's black markets in this as well. I just realised I don't need to come this way because we'd activated the lift, but interestingly, of a no end game thing, yeah. Strangely, a lot of PS1 games and sort of those RPGs had that, where you would keep undiscovering stuff till right up until the end, and they'd keep often introducing mechanics right up into the end. I know when I was actually worked on one RPG, the developers did keep adding mechanics, and there was a big old end game. The thing is, we never, because we were actually doing the localization testing, we never really checked the end game. I just remember doing it once and thinking, we haven't really done much on this. Oh, it'll be fine. But I should remember the amount of end game for it was quite staggering. What I'm going to say is I'm glad we had the one-hit kills mode on, because it made things a lot quicker to go through. Hi 8-Bit SNK Boy, thanks for joining the stream. You forgot to say hi to Cher as well, as she's here tonight. I've got all the regulars on, which is much appreciated, guys. Thanks for the likes as well. And we've had X Gaming 765, but I don't think... Yes, that was indeed Spectrobes. Spectrobes Origin. That is the RPG I've actually... That's the one major title I've actually worked on. I did actually work on all three Spectrobes games, but the only one I basically did we did Wi-Fi testing on the first game. We did the second game. We did testing, but we then moved on to another project for a bit. And then the third game, I actually headed up the localization in Europe. It was quite a good game, but I think it was quite a... We only saw I always felt we didn't quite see it all because I felt that the US must have been doing a lot of testing because we only had a small lock team, or localization team. Now, save point in a dungeon usually means one and one thing only in an RPG. And in case you don't know, it means it's boss time. I think you're not the only one hard at work, basically, 8-bit SNK boy. And here we go, it is going to be boss time, yeah. The thread told Antonori. This can be one of the main villains or just a sub-villain? Protilamaya. Oh, it is, yes. Protilamia. Yep. He is one of Odessa's subordinates. He is one of the Odessa subordinates. He's in the manual. I'm guessing he's not going to be defeated. Come on, show me what you got. Yeah, the Wild Arms series is all pretty good. I mean, I haven't played them too much, but I do highly recommend them. I have played all of them, but not that much. But this is the one I played the most, the second game, really enjoyed. The first one is very good as well, but I've only really briefly played it. There was the remake of the first one, which Naiko's not a fan of, apparently. But I haven't played the remake to make up my own opinion. But by all accounts, the remake of the first one is not very good. I'm getting the impression I might be about to be waylaid Waste 2. Oh yes, level 1 lock on. Aha. Accelerate. Yeah, this is one of the main villains. I assume this is only our first battle with him. I doubt we're going to beat him this time round. In fact, I'm almost expecting an unwinnable battle here, but I might be wrong. I think Lilka is going to be healing solely this battle. Oh, we've got him. If Jebecca was your opponent, you'd all be toast now. Well, it's time, isn't it? Don't want to get left behind. This is where he makes his daring escape, I'm guessing. And this is where we meet all the main villains. Ashley, who are you? Yeah, all of these guys are the characters in the manuals of the Odessa forces that you briefly met earlier. So I'm a little way into the game actually. This is about 10 hours in, so we've skipped the tutorial. Because basically this game, if I was doing this on a fresh stream, literally the whole stream would me be doing the tutorial. So this is Kana, Antonora, yeah. Jadeka, it was Jadeka. Potamir, we are the Special Forces silver-haired key user, that is Kana. Are they some vigilante force from a small town? They were girls in their group too. Yeah, the translation, a lot of unpronounceable words. We're broadcasting clandestine. Bold propaganda, ha ha ha. Wow, wait. And they're going to run off now. Stretch out your arm and reach it if you still have the strength. That voice again. This voice again. There is a mix of sci-fi in this and gameplay, and obviously there's got the music. So that's basically the heroes meeting the main villains, all bar the main villain. Dun, dun. Obviously that's the villain's music. Some of the music here reminds me a little bit of Shining Force 3, actually. Actually, shoot. The problem is having sort of lots of weird and wonderful, unpronounceable worlds does go a little against the Western theme of the series as well. Although I realise this is supposed to be like a Wild West sci-fi adventure, so... Actually, shoot! I thought we had them, but they flew off. We can't even touch them. That's all too obvious. Yeah, the dialogue is not great. But it wasn't only the enemy's flying machine that got in our way. What do you mean? The border problem. Know what I mean? Yeah, now this line would be better as something like he's talking about the border problem. Now I see very Star Wars doubled under Dragons and Cowboys and yeah, thieves. Yeah, it is a real mishmash of everything. Sci-fi, fantasy. You could actually make if you took this game, you could make a really good TV series out of it. If you just took the plot and just did it across like doing each of the sections as different episodes, I think it would work really well a game like this as a TV series, because this has got the story and the content to develop it. Unlike something like Street Fighter, which just doesn't have the story and the content. It's just a fighting game. Even if we had a plane there, the border would have stopped us. There would have been trouble for violating their airspace. Yeah, so the wording on that, it's more along the lines of, well, even if we'd had a plane, we'd have had all sorts of trouble with the border agents. If we violated their airspace, we would have caused all sorts of chaos in the other region. And you want to, like, only outlaws can fly wherever they want, whenever they want. Basically, yeah. Definitely a bit rough around the words. I don't understand. Even though we are doing the right thing, why do things like that get in our way? People live by closing their hearts tight. Walls of the heart become invisible lines which divide the world. This is what borders are. Let's break up for now. And yes, Irving's actually an interesting character. He's actually injured in battle, so he walks with a walking stick. And it's nice to actually see there's a bit more variety in the NPCs there. So Irving is, of course, technically disabled, and you don't necessarily see that in a lot of games, having disabled characters. So you've got a nice mix here. There's definitely a bit more originality with the story and how they approach some of the various characters. There's a slightly darker themes as well in the story. So this is actually quite a good... Another really good one is Shining the Holy Ark, which is a very dark story in parts of it. And that's a fantastic game on the Sega Saturn as well. But I think this is hampered a bit with the translation. I don't have anything to do. I'll hang around here. Me too, I guess. Oh, really? You can rename almost any NPC? That must be crazy. Certainly I won't be using it, but yeah, that's quite funny. What are you talking about? Yeah, not that high. I think that last battle got us up to 12. Of course not. Okay, just checking. Why did you ask? Forget I asked. Yes, your high school sweetheart. So yes, I am currently level 12 now. We got level ups in that last battle. As long as it's actually quite interesting, nice we actually have some downtime in this. And there's the wild arm emblem as well in the office. And more particularly the group we're part of. Yeah, they still look very nice actually and hold up well. I'm not sure if these are actually sprites. Shining Force 3, they were, although they look like sprites, they were actually like single-celled polygons. They may well be sprites, but they sometimes are like literally like a single polygon with sprites stuck to it in a weird way. They did it in some games, but they may be sprites. It's locked. You can't read it. Irvin's diary. Some great artwork as well. Yeah, as Nike said, there's a lot of unique NPCs as well, which really adds to the town. You don't get generic NPCs just cut and paste everywhere. And I think this has aged really well. I really wish this had a PS1 release in the PS3 store. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't have in the European store, which is annoying. This game to date remains unreleased in Europe, despite being a Sony developed and published title. Yep, she heals you, the nurse. So this is basically your base camp. Initially, you don't actually have. It's just initially the story starts off doing the 3 prologues. Then you follow Ashley's adventure and his inexplicable encounter at the church, which basically is where he starts hearing the voice. This is Irvin's sister, who's another major character. Altiasi. Yeah, the PS1 didn't do 2D very well at all, which is why it struggled even with a lot of the 2D games. It didn't help you had... they had a weird no 2D policy as well, Sony, for a while. Which was then later applied at Sega when Sega hired one of the execs. Which was just a really bad decision. The balcony, I mean, it's got some really nice 3D environment. As you can see, it reminds me a lot of Grandia as well, which is a similar art style. Well, I think Grandia had slightly bigger environments, but yeah, it just looks so... I really wish... this is one series that deserves what I would describe as a compilation of all 6 games on, like, the PS5. There's quite a few series that deserve just a nice collection of all the games in the franchise. I should probably save. I think this is the back garden where I can speak with a couple of the other characters. There's 2 exits in this place. There's the back garden and the main one. No, this is the main garden. I want the back one. Yeah, it was Bernie Stoller. He was certainly one of them that implemented it, because that was one of them that Sega. But yeah, he was a former Sony executive, and apparently there was... I just know Sony apparently weren't very happy with some of the... Sony Japan weren't very happy with some of the North American policies, so... I think there are a few... There may have been other execs that had... implied as well. This is an odd, Sony had some odd policies. They also had an odd policy on the PS1, PSP, where Sony North America wouldn't release games unless they had updates to them. So they wouldn't release like games on the PSP that had port. They were just like straight ports. Hence why in Europe we got a lot of games like Tales of and quite a few other games that they didn't get in North America because they wouldn't release them in North America because they didn't have additional content. It was a really weird thing, and they had that policy as well for a while, which is just madness. Technically, you'd want a collection of 6 because you'd want the PSP one as well. Should I just save that? So I do actually detail the year in the description, X Gaming, but it was 1999 it got released in Japan, and I believe it got released in North America in 2000. So this fell at a slightly odd era, I think, for us in Europe, because it probably wouldn't have got released to close to 2001, just after or around the PS2's release, which is probably why we didn't get it in this country, which is a shame. It's certainly in the UK. The other thing is they didn't like to translate them. We missed out on a lot of good RPGs because they didn't want to translate them into Spanish, French, and German. Support virtual, yeah. The other thing is when when that was said, as somebody else pointed out, that actually badly damaged the Dreamcast as well, because all the Sega fans, a lot of them moved away from the basically moved away from Sega totally, and that actually damaged the Dreamcast. Yeah, there were a lot of I'm not going to go into the various exec mistakes by Sega, but Sony, don't get me wrong, Sony have made a ton of exec mistakes as well, as has Microsoft. I think the current Microsoft guy, Phil Spencer, has actually been by far the best executive they've had. He seems to be a decent gamer. I still think there are a few flaws with the Microsoft thing, but he certainly turned around the Xbox One, because at one stage it looked like Microsoft were going to actually jettison the Xbox division. In fact, I know there's quite a few people said they were going to sell it off, and I think even in a recent interview he said they were going to sell it off, but he told them to keep it and build it. And I think if Sony or Nintendo had a monopoly, then we would have a very uncompetitive market, because Nintendo are notorious for having for being not that consumer friendly. They even got Nintendo were actually done by the European Union for running a cartel in the 90s, so I don't know if they've actually paid up for that. They definitely got fined for it. Yeah, my attitude is if it blocks release of the game, someone's being an idiot. The only time I'd say games shouldn't be released is if the content is so horrible they shouldn't be released. But generally, a lot of really good PS1 games getting ported to PSP, and it was meant to be a handheld console, just to play them portably would have been a great thing. And a lot of them, I think Breath of Fire got caught in that, and a few others that luckily Europe didn't have that policy, I think, because they just wanted the games out. Actually, I don't have time for this. Knock it up already, Dip. The two kids are currently fighting it out. They did have that policy for the PS3 as well, because there's quite a few games that had to have additional content on the PS3 before they got released. And I think that did hinder the release of a few ports as well, which was another misstep. That policy's now totally gone for PS4 though. Okay, so we've had the jokey moment with the friends there. And great music again. I mean, there's such good music in this game. Yeah, the Vita launch was a bit of a mess. I think, to be honest, I'm not convinced the Vita was going to succeed because the PSP hadn't done that well in the West. It had kind of dried up. I think there was a thing with console... There's a thing with the Sony handheld gaming. The PSP had done quite well, but it hadn't done as well as I think it needed to do. And they also had an issue, and this is probably the biggest problem. The PSP had rampant piracy on towards the end, and as a result, games didn't sell. And because of that, I think a lot of developers didn't want to do stuff on the Vita in case they had the same issue, because what happened with the PSP was the console sold huge numbers, the games would sell next to nothing in comparison because everyone would be out downloading custom firmware and downloading them on non-kosher sites, so to speak. And I think that left a negative taste, and I think the PS Vita struggled as a result, partly I think because also it fell at an odd time. I mean, I wasn't that interested in the Vita. I remember looking at the launch where the girls are doing the sort of advertising it with the Wipeout, and it just felt like it wasn't a console we needed. I realise it's quite a nice little thing, and we don't actually have one. No one here at Randomised Gaming has one. It's one we should probably look at, because now is probably the best time to grab one if you want to, because they're going to start at the minute it looks increasingly likely that the Vita store will go down at some point in the future as well, and when that happens, a lot of games you're not going to be able to get access to. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this next generation plays out. But yeah, I think if you want to get a Vita, I think now is definitely the time before you're going to struggle to get hold of the games. Don't try to be a hero, just come back alive. Some of the dialogue is very quirky in this, but it's such a lovely looking game. Yeah, I really wish a lot of the Wild Arms games and quite a few other series has got ports to more modern systems, even if they're just retro releases. It's weird, the PS3 in Japan, you can get pretty much every PS1 game released on it. Yeah, I was going to say I thought the Vita was quite easy to custom firmware as well, so... Can I call Irvin? Yeah, now that you mention, you don't see many PS Vita games around that much, do you? And I think a lot of games didn't even get physical releases as well, so well, you really need to grab it while there's still the digital store still available to buy. You had the Vita TV as well, but a lot of games don't work on that. got it for €1. Wow. I mean, you can mod the Vita TV to get almost much better compatibility because there's a few games that don't run correctly on it. Because I was debating whether to grab a Vita at some point, but it'll definitely have to be sooner rather than later. Does the Vita also output to TV? Can I ask if anyone's got them? I assume the PS Vita TV definitely does, but I'm just wondering if the Vita does itself. Oh, nice. Fancy Star Nova Vita. Oh, we can speak to the king. First time I haven't spoken. I haven't actually spoken to the king yet, so it'll be good to chat. Ciao da Italy. Hello. Hello. Oh, I can't. Ciao. Ciao from Italy. Yes, ciao. Hello, Daniel. Liberty. Thank you for joining the stream on Randomised Gaming. I'm your host, Random Gamer Riven, and we're looking at Wild Arms 2 on the PS1 today. Phil Guy, yeah, that's the country in all the Wild Arms games, Phil Guy. That's the one thing that has remained constant. And hello to Uncobra99 as well. Mani Fida. Thank you for joining the stream. Apologies, I need to Google Translate people's text to say hi, but thank you. Ciao. Thank you for joining the stream. Okay, is that all we get to say to the king? Yeah, I think all the games take place on Filgaia, which is quite nice. It's quite nice when you have a series they're all connected. I think in Wild Arms 5, or Wild Arms 5 was a bit of a tribute to the series, so pretty much all the characters appear in it. Including all the characters from the previous games. Can you say happy birthday to my friend? Yes, certainly. So happy birthday to Stefano. Apologies, I'm going to probably get the name. But happy birthday to Stefano Artistia Iltabundin. Apologies if I slightly pronounced it Stefano. It's Stefano, but yeah, happy birthday. That's not a problem. Happy to help our viewers. You're always welcome. If you always enjoy this stream, please do hit that like button. But yeah, no, happy to say that. Apologies if I got the name wrong, mate. I'm not that fluent in Italian, so I'm not sure on the pronunciations. Came from Portico Madonna region. I used to work. Thank you. Do I like pizza? What's... Apologies, my translation software is not quite working right as that's... Okay, so this, hey, that's rhymes. Too afraid to leave town. So what were the terrorists and monsters? In my humble opinion, the terrorist group Odessa is more likely quite a large organisation. The young... Oh. Okay, guys, as just a warning, I am Google translating some of this. Some of what you seem to be saying are profanities, so don't do it, or I will send some messages. Yeah, so I did some Italian translating, and what they were actually saying was quite rude, so I timed them out temporarily. Please don't try and think you can get around by typing swear words in Italian. I do use Google Translate, so I've done it on a few streams now and caught people out trying to put in profanities into streams and other things, so please don't do it. They were trying to get to say Italian words, but when I actually started to look into them, some of them were saying were profanities, so... yeah, you can Google Translate this stuff. I have got some words, Italian words I can now add to the swear filter, though. I did just use the timeout feature. I didn't realise that actually deleted messages. Yeah, I'll need to add those words to the swear filter to block them. But yeah, it's one of the things you have to watch a Google Translate when you occasionally get... I had one of the other streams where we had a problem with that, where people were actually saying profanities at one another in another language. So it's why I Google Translate stuff before saying it. To operate in other countries? How do we get to Salavand from here? This is very, very good. I'll probably do about another 20 minutes. I'll probably start the next mission before I wrap up the stream. That's one way of putting it. I guess so. Yeah, I thought timeout would just temporarily suspend them. I didn't really whack till the message timed out for 300 seconds yet. So we've got to head to Salavand. So the question is, where is Salavand exactly? I'm sure you know where we're supposed to be headed, Nico, I take it? Yeah, the dialogue, good luck on your mission to Salavand. This before we can solve the border problem. But yeah, I have now got some Italian words I need to put into the swear filter, so I'll do that later. Do you want to save my game? Yes, I want to save my game. I'm trying to venture out to... I'm not exactly sure where we go for Salavand. Oh yeah, you can't use the call function in... I've just actually chat to the... See if the sister and the guys on the second floor say anything different. Don't need the medics? No. So that is the one where the sister is, isn't she? This is the kitchen. She can say, you know, I do really like the art in this. It's just such a superb gun. Nope, she's saying the same thing. Darkness, light. Yeah, they do seem to have a few bits where the progression can be a little bit off, I've noticed in these earlier Wild Arm games. Well, it's more like you've got to explore everywhere to know where to go, so... And the problem is, because I'm basically coming from a cold start, as I haven't played this in a while, so you forget the locations are. And the worstest cold start I ever had was I carried on my Majorico's Mask game. But you know, I placed the worst one. Yeah, weirdly, one of the worst recent games for that was Bloodstained, the Cursed Knight on... on Xbox One, PS4. I'm playing through the PS4 version of that, and there's a bit where you just needed to find a random chest. Having got one of the power-ups, you need to just go back to a sort of earlier part of the castle and just open up some random chest to get an item you needed to progress. One slight annoyance I do have with this is the fact that when you progress on the map, there are bits where occasionally you can use the relay to find locations, and sometimes the islands you can't find the locations till the game prompts you to find them, which is probably one bugbear I have got with this, but it's not a major bugbear. Basically prevents you from accessing locations. It'd be nice if I mean, I don't know why you can't just find them and then there's like someone standing in front of them saying, oh, the road's blocked or something in a minute, or just doing some last minute repairs, come back later. Okay, so we're going to go to the forest south of the chateau. And there we go. Now, I searched the location before, but we didn't find it until the live refractor. Yeah, I did something similar, 8-bit SNK boy, but I did it after 5 years, but I was so close, I was so near the end of the game, I decided to restart. I did finish it in the end and got my head around it, but that game was, I would use stronger language, let's say a real messed up your mind trying to get to grips with. Could it be the Odyssey? Hey you guys, what are you doing here? Yeah, Majorico's Mask is a bit of a weird one. This one's not too bad, but yeah, usually you're supposed to do... Most RPGs can be quite disconcerting. I mean, Pokemon's actually quite bad. As well, I redid Pokemon on the stream and trying to remember where I was. Eventually figured out where I had to go. It's dangerous here. In my humble opinion, there's something wrong about sending... There is some awkwardness in the dialogue because of how it's been translated. But yeah, Majoroko's Mask, a couple of times I have just restarted. Yeah, I redid it on Pokemon Yellow. So, oh, we got the other kids with us now. Yeah, I did it on Pokemon Yellow. So, I still haven't finished it, but I remember where I was headed now. So, until you finish. Yeah, there are a few games that you really need to concentrate on. I had the horrible thing in Majoroko's Mask where I had every heart piece bar one, and I couldn't remember which heart piece I didn't have, so I ended up literally having to redo them all. And the problem was the one heart piece I thought I had was the one I didn't have, so I ended up rechecking every single one before I thought, maybe, is it this one? Oh. Moral of the story, don't assume anything. Sarah. So here we go, the Savanda control, the Dragon Ranger. I see what you mean about Dungeons and Dragons in this as well. You've got the mix of, like you said, fantasy, dragons, magic, sci-fi. Just, it is a really great combination. But much appreciated on the likes, guys. Very thanks again. If you enjoy our content, please do like the channel. Please do subscribe as well. We probably just had some kids on early with those Italian ones. But yeah, they wanted me, when I actually, the minute they said, would you mind saying blah, 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 I thought, I'm going to translate that because I'm not convinced, and sure enough. I do have some knowledge of Italian as well, so, rating display. Really got to commit to. Oh yeah, there's a few games like that where they literally tell you what to do and then they don't mention it again, and you're like, what was I supposed to be doing? Here we go, the reflector starting up. Again, got some really peaceful music here. Is it a monster? But yeah, I really... Oh wow, it's a straight boss fight. That I wasn't expecting. Thunderbolt Battle Monster, Elbart. In my humble opinion, rather than a monster, it to be called a creature. Are you afraid, Scott? You've changed the way you talk. It's dangerous here. Okay, let's see. Melancholic, yeah. And then we get this unexpected boss battle, so... I wasn't expecting a boss battle so soon after the last one, actually, but that's always nice. I'm a big fan of boss battles in RPGs, so... Oh, right claw. I do like shooting off the arms as well for this. Oh, I didn't reload Brad either. I reloaded Ashley, but not Brad. Yeah, you sometimes get odd decisions like that where you get a different director who didn't like a feature in one game in the series and then everyone else really liked it, so always good extra XP. Yeah, I think you get some bonus gear for blowing off some of the additional parts. So I'm a hardcore RPG fan, so I like to blow off all the boss arms and everything. Reminding Shining Force 3 where there's actually Pokemon God. It does a bit. It does look a bit like a cross between Pokemon and Godzilla. This battle reminds me a bit of a lot of these battles with the fact you can damage it. Reminds me of the Colossus battle in Shining Force 3 where you could smash up both its arms, or in Scenario 1. And the thing that really annoyed me, in the Japanese Scenario 1, if you use the Espen Orb after smashing off its arms, you can then actually destroy the Colossus. It takes like 3,000 more hits. It was like a really cool battle. But for the English one, they took out the ability to actually allow you to damage it, which really, really annoyed me. But I got a Japanese copy, and I... yes, there's a PS1. And what I discovered was, if you use the ability to damage the Colossus, you can then actually damage it in the English version. Basically, for some reason, only the trigger bit that's taken out. You can still beat it in the English version, and they actually even had the dialogue for when you beat it, when a wart then says like, oh wow, you actually beat the Colossus, which is really cool. One of those rare, slightly trivial things. I'm not sure how many people want to know, but it was quite a cool thing when I found that out. Quick, just another flame on it. Accelera. I do like the lighting as well. There's some nice lighting effects in this for the PS1. I realise it's not, was it ray tracing lighting, but it actually looks quite nice, some of the effects they've done for the game, so. Okay, it's probably time I get a couple of the guys to start healing. Yeah, basically you have to, for Shining Force 3 Scenario 1, if you want to destroy the Colossus in English, you have to destroy, so in both versions you can destroy the arms of the Colossus, but in the English version you can't then damage the main body. What you have to do in the Japanese version is use the Espen Orb to take off its shield, and then you can start damaging it. What you do is you use the Espen Orb on the Japanese version, hit it once, or you don't even need to hit it once, but I'd just hit it once a good measure. Save the game, and then load up. One of the few things with Shining Force 3 is that the Japanese saves are compatible with the English version and vice versa. So then what you do is turn off, take it out, swap region, go to the English version, and then you can destroy it for real. Because it's quite a much tougher fight if you want to blow up the full thing. Yeah, you basically have to swap discs, go from the Japanese to the English one after that, which is it's a nice little thing. So basically, in order to damage it in the English version and see the dialogue, you have to destroy it in the... Yeah, that's one of the more cool things. That's in Scenario 1. There's basically, in the Japanese version, you can destroy the Colossus totally. If you use the... So basically, you have to destroy both its arms, and then if you use the Espen Orb on it, you can then make it vulnerable to destroy. But because I think it negates the fact that you basically have the whole dam sequence. Basically, if you destroy the Colossus, you don't then need to open the dam at all. And basically, you get a wart say, well, wow, you destroyed the Colossus. There's a nice little side thing you could do in the Japanese version that you can't do in the English version, but if you transfer over a save file from the Japanese version, you can do. Tim, what is this power? Yeah, you get quite. There's a. For the Sega Saturn, I'm pretty sure every single game actually runs at 60 frames a second, but the 3D games are only generating 30 frames. So although the game's running at 60 frames, you're often only seeing 30 frames in generation. But I'm pretty sure for the Saturn, probably it may even apply for the PlayStation, both consoles are always running at 60 frames, but just that some games don't use 60 frames. Hello to everyone out there on the stream. By all means, if you're enjoying the content, please do hit that like button. And of course, if you're new to the channel, my name is Random Gamer Riven. I am the editor of Randomised Gaming. We do a whole selection of videos of gameplay, long plays, archives, and we also do some other educational, informational videos as well on the channel. And at the minute, since the current world event, I have been streaming every night from 9 o'clock, and I will be streaming the regular fight night that we do with myself and Random Gamer Dragoon, who will be doing it tomorrow night, where we pick a verse night. So by all means, do come along to our streams if you are here, and by all means, if you do like our channel, please do consider subscribing to it. Thanks very much. System discs. So yes, I know what they are. There's first party and third party ones. I have contemplated trying to source them. I really should get in touch with my industry contacts and see if someone can get hold of them. They are quite rare, but yes, I realise the potential for us to be able to, for what they're used for, because basically they allow you to run unassigned code, or basically beta code on official Sega Saturns. So yeah, there's two. There's one for Sega games and one for third-party games, and I'd like to try. The young arm will maintain the peace. Maintain peace, and that's what I'm warning you against. But yes, there is something I would like to get, because it would mean we could play games like Return Fire on the Sega Saturn. And even look at the North American version of Deep Fear. Although we did get a Japanese copy recently. Oh, and Nico, you'll be pleased to know I have finally got a copy of the Macross 30. So I had a brief play on the start of that just to check that it worked. I won't be playing it till Christmas, but yeah, it seemed very good from what I briefly played. Okay, here we go. Oh, is this a teleport system, I take it? I see the live... Oh, wow. Yes, I see what you mean about the... We're literally being beamed across the planet. That is crazy. Nice idea, though. Some really nice ideas with this. You don't expect them. It's certainly an unconventional RPG. And the Valrakrissa is now fully equipped. Yeah, I might have to try and look at sourcing them at some point. Everyone sees the black winds of the Valrakrissa is overwhelmed. It's clear the flights are an effective method of conveying the menace of Odessa. Yeah, I know it's nice and easy to do with the pseudo-Saturn, and maybe I will source that as well, but because system discs are official, and as we're mainly official collectors of stuff, it would be nice to have them because they were officially released discs, the system discs, and there's something nicer actually having the official stuff. I would really like to try and source them, but I think they may be a bit out of... They're quite hard, but I will get in contact with some of my... I will speak to some of my industry contacts in the near future and see if I can source them. I was at one stage looking to get a DS development kit because that allowed you to basically DS development kits have an output to television, so you could play the DS games and record them via consoles. I mean, we may get the Pseudo Saturn as well, but it would be nice. No, we're not. No, we should call them the same. Some of the dialogue here is a bit explainity. If they're independent, but the fire is low-level nobility. Rich person's hobby. Allies of justice. We've traced their activity. They're headed off towards Cyberland. Okay, so am I right in saying the enemies are going to help you to get bigger so that way they can then crush you for the notoriety? Yeah, I don't get. Yeah, the dialogue is. That dialogue. I felt the same thing. 8-best. Okay, summed it up perfectly. No, welcome them in the grand. Some of this dialogue is awful, which is quite surprising for a 2000 game. Our enemies are finances. That's a good one, Kana. If I spoke too freely, please excuse me. Your assessment. To be concerned, leave the financing to me. Is it that man again? Oh, that's the name of a character. There's a character called something like that man in the Guilty Gear series, which has some crazy character names. I see, so they can use this area to warp. I'm guessing this is the only one that's going to have the sort of base reactor in it. So here we are in. This is actually So this is actually a teleport system. This really is getting quite sci-fi, but yeah, very good stuff. Very good stuff. So I'm actually gonna. Oh, we can't save it at this point, can we? Save it in the middle of the forest. Okay. Let's try and pronounce this. Savaland Castle. Yeah, I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation of that Savaland Castle. Dun, dun. This is the point where I want to save to finish, so I'm going to be wrapping this up in a second, guys. But thanks to everyone who's been on stream, as always. I don't know if Share's still there, but thank you for being on stream, Share. Thank you to Nico R. Thank you to 8-bit SNK Boy. Or Nicoden R, I should, if I try to pronounce your full name. Thank you to our other Italian peoples. Uncobri99 and Daniel Oleverto, even if they were trying to get me to pronounce swear words in Italian. Although not that I've been able to pronounce them properly. And X Gaming X765 Bud, thanks for joining the stream again. Very much appreciated. Yeah, you're dead right about Crisis Core. I mean, this is a really good game. Crisis Core was not such a good game. I mean, Crisis Core. Yeah, you're right. This is a very good script, just badly translated. Crisis Core was just a laughably, was like you said, was just laughable of the dialogue. Why should I consider you of ARM any different from Odessa? I mean, you can kind of get, why should I consider ARM any different from Odessa? You're both military groups. You see, I know, you want to defeat Odessa, as it says here. Yeah, you can tell it's just a translation issue. Made sense to begin with, yeah. That's okay, SNK boy. I'm just glad you guys are all here on the stream as well. It's always nice to have you coming back. I wonder if the translation of this was actually slightly rushed, which I suspect may have been the issue. Accept your proposal. Please convey this to the king of... along with my greetings. Oh wait, it was actually server... This wasn't it. Novels, an independent fighting force. Please tell her to come visit me with his lovely sister, Not Arms. Thus wish the Queen of... I understand, Your Highness. Some dialogues I think you could tell seem to be on the ball, but... So something like this just said, I have an emergency to report. Please forgive the intrusion, Your Highness. Yeah, because we've got, oh, please forgive your, it should be, oh, please forgive the intrusion, Your Highness, or please forgive the intrusion, Your Highness. An emergency report, please forgive the intrusion, Your Highness. And to be honest, phrasing this, they should actually change it the other way. So, please forgive me, Your Highness, I have an emergency to report. Should be done in the opposite order. I suspect this is probably translated true to how the Japanese would word the stuff. Never mind what's so important. Please, something more probably. Please speak your mind and tell me what's the matter. What's so important? Oh yes, there. Yeah. Oh yes. You've just burst into the thing and you go, oh yes, yes, Your Majesty. So it should be yes, Your Majesty. There's been a terrorist attack in the hamlet of Hamsen. What suggests it was the terrorist band? Oh, death, sir. Your Highness. See just how fast our independent fighting force is then. With pleasure. Let's go, everyone. When we meet such grave danger, nothing should keep us apart. Your Highness, is something the matter? Yeah, the dialogue's... Acting for the common good. I believe you are correct. They are indeed honourable and they desire to protect Filgara's genuine. Of course, that is also part of what makes me nervous. So the Queen has misgivings about giving us the order to defend. I suppose there's actually... That's actually quite realistic, because if you're allowing an independent mercenary group to defend you that has all sorts of things... I'm not going to chat to anyone, I'm just going to find the save point. If I can find the save point being the optimal word. No, I'll read it later. Books are boring at this point. I want the save. It's 20 past midnight. I want the save point. Please be somewhere reasonable. There's a few things this with a save point can be in a very wacky places. A few of these games do have save characters in odd, so we know we're looking for the save woman. Ah, there she is. There she is. She's the one NPC that does keep the same, but that's for obvious reasons, so you can identify her. Save my game! Thank you, my dear. The kind and thoughtful NPCs in the video game of Wild Arms 2. Yeah, the look of this does remind me a lot of Shining Force 3. And Grandia. Have you actually played through Shining Force 3, Nike? Oh, probably because there is an English translation now of it. There's a fan patch, although I didn't rate the fan patch too well. That's got some really complex politics with all the various sides fighting it out. Shining Force 3 is probably one of the best games There's a very good political story going on with you have the independent characters. Like Shining Force 3 is one of the few games that I'm actually going to say yes. I'm not going to say no because it will take me back to the title screen. And the title screen is the one screen in the game that's actually interlaced. So it's like jumps to 480i. So that's the one screen that's 480. Oh, I think the rest of the game is like 263p it's coming out as at the minute. But I think that's the... The usual lurkers. Yeah, we got a few lurkers as always, which is nice. I'm glad we've got some lurkers. Thank you all. Thank you to all the lurkers. Even if you're not here streaming, chatting away, thank you, I should say. So that's it for tonight. We will be doing tomorrow's fight night. I highly recommend it because the political side of the story is very good. There is now fan patches on the Saturn as well if you want to experience it. Because you basically have two warring countries in Shining Force 3. You have the neutral party that's also got its own political agenda, and you have the Balsamo cult as well. And although if you're going to play Shining Force 3, I highly recommend playing its prequel, Shining the Holy Ark, purely because there's some key story tie-ins that if you don't play Shining the Holy Ark, you won't understand in Shining Force 3. Whereas if you play Shining the Holy Ark, there's a couple of characters when they appear, you're like, yes, I know who you are. And yeah, I know what you've come to do, and there's quite sort of because there's and a few other things. So thank you all as always. Thank you as always. Always hit that like button if you haven't already. I expect everyone watching still has. Thank you to everyone who's on stream again. I've already thanked everyone previously, but yes, I will need to add some Italian words to the swear filter straight after. But thank you all guys. Very much appreciated for you all being on stream. As always, this has been Wild Arms 2. It is available if you want to play Wild Arms 2. It is available in the North American PS store for PSP and PS3, and it is available in the Japanese store. Sadly, it's not available in Europe, and the game has never to date been released in Europe. So if you're watching Sony of Europe, please do get this release. In fact, do it. It'd be nice to get a collection. Strangely, Sony didn't release most of the Sony in Europe released Wild Arms 1 and Wild Arms 3. Wild Arms 4, 5, and I think even the PSP outing, despite them all being a Sony franchise, were all published by independent developers for some reason. It's an odd one. But it is a fantastic... This is a very good game, Wild Arms 2. In fact, Wild Arms 1's a very good game, but I think for me, I think this is probably the better game. But yeah, I do highly recommend both games. But if, yeah, I did just sit down and actually play through, or well, at least what I have yet to play through a full installment of the Wild Arms series. Hence why I thought I'd stream this tonight so I actually played it further. But thank you all for your likes, thank you all for the feedback, thank you all for the comments and the company, guys. As always, it's a pleasure chatting to you all. I have been your host for this randomised gaming stream, Random Gamer Riven, and I will see you all. I've got 2 streams tomorrow. We do have a Super Bombman R online stream, which is currently... Okay, you're right. It was released by UBI Software. So you're correct. Yes, so Sony released Wild Arms 1 in Europe, and that was it. Their own franchise. If you're a Sony executive, my eyes are rolling at the minute because you should have released most of your games. But yes, I will be back tomorrow. So we got 2 streams tomorrow. I will be doing a Super Bombman R crowd play online stream, and do bear in mind that they've now added in the ability that anyone who has Google Stadia can play in Super Bombman R online in the 3 mode. Although the 3 modes only got 8 of the playable characters. And we will be doing a Fight Night stream as well. Not sure what it will be on Fight Night, but we'll have something picked for when we start later. But that's it from me. Have a good night, everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow.